Welcome, guys. It's obviously we have a not more of an intimate crowd today, but still I hope you guys get a lot out of what we're going to present. We're going to talk a little bit about where eyelash extensions started, the evolution, and what the future holds for eyelash extensions, as well as potential revenue streams and possible income potentials. And then we're also debuting a newer type of eyelash extension technology today, and that's what Lynn's already started. So. Anyways, welcome. My name is Jason McKinstry. I'm the president, CEO, and owner of 3D Beauty. So 3D Beauty, we're going to take just a few minutes to talk about 3D Beauty. So 3D Beauty, we're actually the OG for eyelash extensions. So 3D Beauty was the very first eyelash extension company in the Western Hemisphere. So this was started back in 2004, when the owner, which at the time, which was my stepmom, Linda Kinstry, she started with semi-permanent cosmetics. She had been doing that for about 20 years already, and then in about 2003, she knew she wanted to get into something different, and she heard about something new coming out of Asia, and she's originally from Taiwan. So she went to Asia, she found the original inventor of the eyelash extension, and she knew that she could make a success out of that based on what she'd done in permanent cosmetics. So she spent about a year doing the research, developing all the technology she needed to be successful here in the United States. So in 2004, we actually launched 3D Beauty, and it had everything from instructional DVDs to disposable products, everything you needed to launch a successful company. Back then, eyelash extensions actually were not even called eyelash extensions. They were actually just referred to as semi-permanent lashes. It was not until years later that the terminology actually changed to say eyelash extensions. So basically, we launched in 2004. Later on in 2004, we actually had the very first workshop of eyelash extensions. That was actually held in Southern California, where the company is still actually based today. The very next year, in 2005, we launched our very first international workshop, which at the time, we thought there would be maybe 200, 300 attendees, and there was well over 2,500 attendees from all over the world that came in, and it was actually held in Mexico City at the time. Later on that year, in 2005, we developed what we call the BioGel under eye pad, which is one of the very first under eye pads. What made that different at the time is it's the only iPad still today that's actually made in the United States. We manufacture that in our own facility. It's an FDA-approved medical facility of ours. What makes those iPads different is they're completely fiberless. You can take them on and off. You can reposition them. Lynn has been with us for 12 plus years, and she loves using them. So that kind of is a little different from what we did. And unfortunately, we're having some problems with the slides, so you're not gonna see what I was hoping you were gonna see. In 2006, we actually opened up the very first Lash Lounge in the United States. It was just a facility dedicated just doing eyelash extensions, and that was actually located in Pasadena. Later on, in August of that year, we actually opened up our first store in Mexico, under our brand name 3D Lashes, and that eventually we got up to 38 stores throughout Mexico. So where is 3D Beauty today? So, we evolved from just humble beginnings of just starting out doing eyelash extensions. Today, we're a global company. We have 5 factories worldwide. We have two in the United States, one where we make our BioGel pads, one where we do most of our liquid products, being our cleansers, some of our aftercare products. We make all those here in the States. We have 2 facilities in mainland China where we do all of our eyelash extensions, false eyelashes, those types of products. And then we have one in Taiwan where we also make all of our lash lifting products. At 3D Beauty, we believe it's about the relationships. We're a very transparent company. We've always been a very transparent company. That's what makes us a little bit different. When we first started, it was just our company for the very first year. Within 2 years, there was probably 2 other larger companies that had started to evolve as lash companies. They'd taken our courses. They figured they would wanted to do the same, so they ended up branching out as well. So, you know, in the first couple of years of eyelash extensions, there was basically 3-4 of us that were all the companies in the United States that you could get eyelash extensions from. Today, in actually 2023, there was well over 2,600 different eyelash extension brands. Now, that does not mean they're manufacturers, so that makes us, 3D Beauty makes that us a little bit different than pretty much everyone else here stateside, is that we're an actual manufacturer, so we control everything from the production to delivering it to the customer. So that makes it a little bit different than what other companies are. But today we also carry a full range of products besides lash extensions, that being brow lamination, lash lifting, microblading products. We do salon accessories. So if you guys are in the salons, you need accessories, we also offer a wide range of those. So with that being said, I'm hoping the slides are actually going to maybe sync up. So what we wanted to talk about now, have you guys done, since it's a smaller crowd, have you guys done lash extensions before? Or is this brand new for you?
We've done the eyelash lift. We're cosmetology students right now.
Okay.
So we already learned how to do the lash lift, but we really want to learn how to do like microblading.
Okay, so you haven't done the lash extensions. Okay, do you know what the lash extensions are actually?
Yes.
Okay, so the eyelash extensions, it's just a basic, that's okay. I'm just gonna roll whatever on here. So we're gonna go through the evolution of eyelash extensions. So when we talk about the lash diameters of lash extensions, in the beginning, when we first started out, the thickness of an eyelash extension was a 0.30 millimeter, and then it dropped down to a 2.5. Within a few years, we eventually went thinner, meaning thinner diameter of lashes down to a 0.20 and down to a 0.15 with the classic eyelash extensions. Now, in today's world, though, you can see on the little chart that beyond 0.15, we started to get thinner and thinner as the technique started to get more advanced. We came out with, which I'm going to touch on in a few minutes. They became more advanced. We ended up going much thinner. So we go all the way now, it says a 0.03 diameter lash. We actually go down to a 0.02 diameter lash. That, if you're not in lash extension, that doesn't mean a lot, but for those that are in it, it's actually a huge evolution in lash extension, and I'll tell you why. So in the beginning, when we first developed just doing the lashes, it was just strictly a classic lash technique. So what that meant is we were using, like I said before, either a 0.30 or possibly a 0.25, very thick, round diameter lash. Back in those days when we did our very first trade show, was actually here in Las Vegas in 2005. The drying time of lashes was 10 to 12 seconds. So that means when you would place a lash, your false extension onto the natural lash, you would have to hold it steady as a rock. The person couldn't move for 12 seconds. Once that was over, you could release it, you could pick up another and put another one down. So back in those days, you would, you would be able to, it would take you a couple hours to do a procedure. So we're just gonna see, so now we're on to the lash curls. And I do apologize again because these slides are somehow completely out of sync, but that's okay. So in the beginning, we only had 3 basic curls. As you can see on the left, we had the J curl, a C curl, and then we developed the V curl. I put this slide up here too, the V curl. That actually wasn't developed, believe it or not, until just a few years ago, and that was only due to a manufacturer's mistake. Someone in Europe, very large known company in Europe, had ordered some, and they came with the wrong curl, so they kind of renamed it as a V curl. But nowadays, you can see there's several different types of eyelash extensions in terms of the curls. We go from not only the C and a D curl, but what's called a CC and a D curl. We go M curls. Those are all just to better suited the type of client, whether what the shape of the eyelash is. We already talked about that. Lash links. In the beginning, we had just a few lash links to play around with. Mostly, they were 10 millimeter long to 15 millimeter long. Nowadays, you can see now we go from 4 millimeters all the way down to, all the way up to like 22 millimeter lashes. And again, this is just strictly for client preference. So like what Lynn does, she usually, with Bailey's lashes, like, so when she was doing her lashes, she wanted, you know, just a volume look. So she just mimicked her length, so she was doing, say, 10 and 12 millimeter lengths. But you can see we do a variety. We actually do a lot of clients here that are in production shows that do very long lengths of lashes. Is that gonna be it? Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so we're done with the slides. So we are just going to talk about the new technology. So with the future of eyelash extensions, we're always striving to look, especially from a manufacturing standpoint, what can we do better? How can we improve on how are we applying the lashes on the adhesives? You know, like we're missing the slides, unfortunately, but you know, when we started with adhesives, I mentioned that we were doing 10 to 12 seconds. You know, now we're down to half a second of the drying time for eyelash extension. But as a manufacturer, we're always looking at different ways how to improve the safety and the protocols. As a manufacturer, we listen to what the issues are from both the technician's viewpoint as well as what the client is asking for. And what we have actually come out with, and Lynn has been working with this technology now for about a year. It's a UV LED light. And that's what you can see if when Lynn's doing her lash extension, the purple light that is going on, that's actually UV light. Now, what I want to stress is it's an LED UV light, okay? So just to understand, the LED, when you say LED UV, LED is referring to the type of light bulb. So it's not an incandescence, it's not a straight bulb, it's an LED light bulb. And then UV is referring to the wavelength. In our particular brand of light, we use a wavelength, which, you know, if you guys want to come back to this, I can explain more, but it's a wavelength of 395 to 405 nanometers of the wavelength of light. And that's right on the UV spectrum, all into maybe the bluish light. That just means it's less damaging to the skin or anything like that. Now, what makes the UV lash extensions, when we use the UV light, it's not just the light, it's actually the adhesive we're using. So we're using a very special adhesive that was designed to specifically and only work with the interaction with the UV light, with the range of the wavelength that we told you about. So because of that, instead of using the air to cure an adhesive, which is typically how all lash extension adhesives interact and how they cure, the UV light will instantly cure as soon as it's exposed to the UV light. That's because we use photo initiators inside the adhesive itself, and we've also removed the carbon black. So we use a clear adhesive, and that allows so when Lynn puts on the light, you know, the adhesive will cure in maybe half a second, 1 second. So sometimes people have asked us, what about the UV? Because it's a UV light, there's a stigma about UV damaging. With everything else, this is a newer technology, so we do say, is it going to be for everyone? No. You know, there are certain circumstances right now, how we see, because it is an evolving technology, there are certain circumstances where the UV light is more of a positive way to do eyelash extension. And that's going to be, if you've had some issues with your clients that have had some type of reaction to the normal eyelash extension procedure, then I would suggest to try the UV light. Or if someone is looking for a very fast setting to where you can do your set of eyelash extensions and then you can go change into your bathing suit, go jump in the pool here, you can get wet right away, and there's absolutely no damage to the eyelash extensions, they will not fall out, which is, in the world of normal eyelash extensions, we still say, try not to get wet for the first, 8 to 12 hours, maybe up to 24 hours, depending on what product you use. But with the UV technology, as soon as that light hits it, that is cured. So, is it safe? Yes. There has been some studies already performed because we use the UV light does not emit any kind of harmful radiation. But as a company, we also stress it is a brand new technology. So if that's something you do want to look into, do your due diligence. I only can speak about our light and our specific adhesive. As with everything, all products are not made the same. There are other brands of adhesive out there that we don't manufacture that have the carbon black back in them. So that could have some reactions to the client as opposed to a clear adhesive because there's no off-gassing or anything like that. So there could be some, some issues with other adhesives. But with go ahead.
No. I just wanted to say the light actually, you finish your set much faster. So I'm actually cutting my time down with the UV light.
Yeah, so when people say how fast is it? So with the UV light, the UV light will cure the lashes anywhere between half a second up to, well, with Lynn, because she's faster, maybe to 1 second. Some adhesives that other people told me they're having adhesives that are 3 to 4 seconds. So again, that's more of the light technology and the combination of adhesive. With us, she has about 1 second per lash. So if she's doing a full set of lashes, the total exposure time to a UV light is typically between, I would say, probably 5 to 8 minutes. And that's based on probably about 150 lashes on an eye, which is, now in our light, I will say is a 5-watt light, which is very minimal, and because of the special wavelength that we're using, it's much reduced any kind of exposure to any kind of damaging rays. As a comparison, a tanning bed that you may go to uses a much lower form of wavelength of the UV light, about 365 nanometers. And they're exposed to that, and they have 200 watts. We use a 5-watt light here at minimal exposure, so it's a completely different process. So it is a safe. But what makes it different for Lynn or for any technician doing this is she can do a full set of lashes now much quicker. So if she's doing a full set in, say, an hour and a half, she might be able to drop that time to under an hour, which obviously for anyone actually doing the lashes is going to mean you can actually see more clients during the day.
One of the things is if you're making your own fans and you use the light, your fans still stay white. So if you were using the old adhesive, sometimes the adhesive can run up the fans. So you can see, so she looks pretty fluffy. So I can show you how it cures very, very fast. You can see it on the camera there, right behind you, right? Oops. Okay, yeah, now I'm taking. So I just press the light, and it's done. So that's the last thing. The other one you had to wait. You had to place it, and then you can't let go because it was going to get all the others stuck together. But this one, I literally just press it, and it's done. So I'll show you. Look.
And then this also helps prevent what's called stickies, where sometimes if the glue isn't dry, if you put the next one on, they stick together. It will minimize. We're not going to say it always will prevent it, but it will help minimize that situation. So that's one of the great things about this technology. Do we see it replacing the traditional way of eyelash extensions? I think it's too early to tell.
I think, yeah.
I gotta be honest. All my clients now, I slowly started using it. I've been using it for nearly a year, and I did a couple that were really hard maintenance clients that were doing hot yoga or don't wash their eyelashes. And I started with them, and now 70% of my clients are on this light. Because it seems to also last a little longer. I think the humidity,
it's not susceptible to between the light and the adhesive, it's not as susceptible to humidity. So right now we carry more than 10 different types of adhesives, from super fast to the sensitive type. So with this type of adhesive and the combination light, there is pretty much no reaction to the humidity, because as soon as that light hits the glue.
And it's a few seconds though. It's not, you're not sitting there pressing it for you just literally press it and let go. It's not sitting.
Right, so that downtime, or the full time I was telling you, is taking the place of maybe say 1 to 2 seconds of a light on, maybe 3 to 4 seconds where she's grabbing a new fan, and we're talking a volume procedure, grabbing a new fan, placing it, and then turning the light back on. So again, the overall exposure is very minimal. I think as long as the technology stays within the realm where we're going in terms of the safety of the lights, keep the wavelengths, there's always going to be different manufacturers doing it different ways. So I think as long as you can study the technology, and as technicians you do want to do your research, make sure whatever brand, be it our brand, someone else's brand, you want to actually ask a lot of questions. don't just say, oh, it's safe, I'm gonna buy it. Ask them a lot of questions. And you can always contact 3D Beauty, even if you don't use our products. We will always be happy to answer any kind of questions on what you should be looking for. You know, as one of the premier lash companies within the beauty industry, we pride ourselves as being honest and open. Whether you use our products or not, we want to make sure you're always happy you get the right information. You know, because in today's market, it's all about marketing. It's all about doing the best posts you can. We're just more really direct to the point. Whether it's myself, Lynn, anyone in our office, we'll tell you exactly how it is. Even it may be completely different. You know, when we first started with eyelash extensions, my stepmom called them silk eyelash extensions. Were they made out of silk? No. She just thought they were so soft and smooth, she would call it silk eyelash extensions. But very quickly, everyone says, oh, they're made out of silk. So within the first year, we had actually changed the name from silk eyelash extensions. They're actually, it's a form of just an artificial type of material. So we called it a mink lash back then, and that has carried through. So, you want to just be honest about it, because as soon as people were saying, oh, they're mink, no, they're silk, no, they're not silk. So, the next step we want to touch briefly is on the income potentials. We have a lot of lash artists now that have anywhere from, a single person table they're using. We have some of our master lash artists globally. They have as many as 6-7 lash artists working in their salon, where one has actually a 10,000 square foot salon that she does the eyelash extensions. She also does facials and other products, but she does that. So can you make a lot of money doing eyelash extensions? Absolutely. I have a slide all set up, but it would show you, if you're full-time and you do say 5 days a week just doing the lash extensions, and you do say one full set of lash extensions at $150, and then you do 3 fills during the day at a lower price point of say $80, that can get a revenue stream going of up to $70,000 a year. If you do more, we do have several lash artists that work with us that are, mid-6 figures doing eyelash extensions. And then the nice thing is that you can add additional services to, through the eyelash extensions, being it the lash lifting that you guys have already learned, or brow laminations. Those are, or even microblading, although that's more of a completely separate service. So, when they come in, you do eyelash extension or you do a brow lamination. Lynn is actually, she does both eyelash extensions. She does pretty much everything, in her salon.
So if I'm doing eyelashes, sometimes I'll do the brow tint or waxing, facials, lash lifts, lash tints. Usually lash lifts and lash tints are the younger people that don't want eyelash extensions. So I do all of it.
And how long would your lash extensions usually last?
So
Before they start coming out?
Yeah, so a client that comes to me that's very active, I would say about 2 weeks. But someone that takes care of their lashes, washes their lashes, it's every 3 weeks.
Oh.
And then with the lights, I've noticed those clients that are not doing a good job are lasting longer. So that's why I kind of moved over to the lights. So I'm not saying I do still use the adhesive, but definitely for those ones that are coming to me sooner, I don't really want to see them that sooner, so the light's really been working on that.
I would say most cases, because we do have several different types of adhesives, so depending on the person where they live, the humidity levels, you can get anywhere between, I would say, 3 to 5 weeks is a general time of how long eyelash extensions will last. It really honestly depends on the person. Are they rubbing their eyes? Do they sleep face down on their pillow? Those type of things. That doesn't matter what brand of eyelash adhesive you're using, that's gonna have them fall out earlier. But I would say a general time frame can be anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks, I would say. Do you have any other questions? Now's the perfect time to ask. So anyway, so that's, go ahead.
No, I'm trying to think what other questions
No,
I can ask.
behind you.
Oh, go ahead.
Girl, I didn't see you.
No, just kidding. I don't know if you shared this information already, but what adhesive are you exactly using?
So for this procedure right now, we're using, it's a special adhesive, it's a UV curing adhesive. So this adhesive is designed specifically to interact and react with the UV light that we're using. So will it work if you don't use the UV light? It will, but it's not gonna work like a normal adhesive because you have to have that UV light because before I think you came in, this adhesive we use has photo initiation, and that's what is the main component that actually causes it to set and bond.
It also doesn't have a color. So, I mean, some do, but this one doesn't. So clients that react to eyelash extensions usually react because of the black color of the adhesive. So I found that this being no color and the way that it bonds and dries so fast, that they are not having a reaction. Some I did try, obviously they still had a reaction, but there were some that had a reaction to normal eyelash extensions that took a while to cure. This way was better.
Because I noticed that a lot of lash techs, they do a lot of prepping before they even get to the lash application. So they're applying the
Gel pens?
Or like a
gel
timer.
pads and taping, and then I see that.
So that's all the prep. We just didn't have time to do that here.
Okay.
So
I
yeah, we
have
didn't.
the eyelashes here. I mean, you have to have iPads because when they close their eyes, you can't see bottom from top.
Right. But most people don't, because I see that you have that and it's minimal. And I like working smarter, not harder. So if that's an option, considering the fact that you're using a special light, I didn't know if that was a part of it.
Well, sometimes they use the tape on top of the lids if they're very hooded lids because then you can't, the skin, you can't see where the hair is. So sometimes I will tape
Okay.
their lids, but yeah, not all.
There's all different types of techniques how to prep for the lashes.
That looks very simple, so.
You
And
can,
quick.
yeah, you guys can come back to our booth. So when we first started the eyelash extensions, when our founder at the time designed the procedure, we've always taught it basically this way, how Lynn has it, with just our biogel pad as under eyes. We rarely had, and when we teach classes, we do not teach using tape. You can, obviously, because it is gonna be depending on the type of eyelid, but you just weren't here, and we just didn't have the time to do all the prep. But yes, you should always, shampoo the lashes, make sure the lashes are clean before you start any procedure. You can use some type of pre-bonder if you would want. Although if you're using the UV light, you absolutely do not need any type of pre-bonder or anything like that, because as soon as that light hits the adhesive, it's cured. Pre-bonder, what that does, it actually opens up small pores in the eyelash extension. So when you use the regular adhesive, the adhesive will flow easier into those small little pores that are microscopic. So with the UV light, you don't need that. So the prep time is a little bit less as well, but you absolutely have to start with clean lashes no matter what.
Also, the other thing I found with the UV light, when they open their eyes are not burning. I don't need to.
That's the part for me, yeah.
Right, so you know how you have to wait and fan and wait for the glue to literally cure. This way, I take the light actually and I just go over it a little bit, just like that, and then I sit them up and it doesn't burn.
That's perfect, yeah.